So when I say the word marketing, what comes to mind? If the first thing you thought about was ads, Google ads, Facebook ads, a flyer, a billboard, boosting a post, I get it. That's what most people think. But here's the thing. That's not marketing. That's advertising. And advertising is just one tool in a much, much larger system. Most business owners, and I do mean most, have been confusing these two things for their entire careers. And it's costing them a lot. And today we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about what marketing actually is. Not what someone told you it was when they were trying to sell you something. What it is at its core. And why getting this right changes everything about how you run your business. My name is Colin Charles. I'm the founder of Enoch Marketing, and we're going to get into it. So, part one, what is marketing? Let's start from the top. The American Marketing Association, which is the governing body of marketing as an academic and professional discipline, defines marketing in this way. Marketing is the activity, set of institutions, and processes for creating, communicating, delivering, and exchanging offerings that have value for customers, clients, partners, and society at large. Now that's a lot of words, but to pull it apart, one thing jumps out. The center of that definition is value exchange. It's not persuasion, it's not manipulation, value exchange. You have something that someone needs. Marketing is the system that connects those two things. Now, Philip Kotler, if you remember, we didn't talk about Kotler. Anyway, but if you've taken any marketing classes anywhere, you've read Kotler. And this man essentially is the father of modern marketing theory. He cut it down even further, saying that marketing is finding someone else's needs and filling them. Filling needs, finding needs, filling them. That's it. Keep that in the back of your mind because we're going to start talking about that more in the rest of this video. Now, Peter Drucker, we did talk about him last time. He's a highly respected management thinkers in history. We brought this up last episode that the aim of marketing is to know and understand the customer so well that the product or service fits him and sells itself. Sells itself. That phrase should stop you. Because if your marketing is working, if you found the right people, understand their real needs, positioned yourself as the solution, and you shouldn't have to strong arm anybody. The fit is just obvious, and it's easy. Now we're going to continue on. This guy named J. Abraham. If it looks like I'm looking down the screen, I have to see my quotes. He's a consultant and one of the most respected in the world. He's a strategist that says, if you truly believe that what you have is useful and valuable to your clients, then you have the moral obligation to try to serve them in every way possible. Which should make sense. Would you be the person who has ample food and we're watching your friends starve? That wouldn't make any sense. So, you have the obligation to help them. And I like that one because it's a paradigm shift. Marketing isn't about pushing around something on people. It really is a moral obligation to reach the people who need what you have. And we'll talk more about needs in just a second. Then, one more. This one's out of the Harvard Business School with a professor named Theodore Levitt. He wrote a paper in 1960 called Marketing Myopia, which means tunnel vision, essentially. And that literally changed the way that businesses think. He said, and shortly at that, the purpose of a business is to create and keep a customer. Create, keep. Not just acquire, keep. We're going to go back to that theme of keeping a little bit later as well. But I want to emphasize up front to you all that these 5 different people from 5 eras have the same idea running through all of their work. That marketing is the full practice of understanding what the market needs, meeting that need with real value, and building something that lasts. It's not about the campaign, it's not about the post, it's not about a boosted ad. It's a practice, a system, a discipline, if you will. So, moving on, Colin's thoughts. Nobody buys a product they don't need. Well, you might because we're a bit of a consumer culture here in the US, But if you really want to convict somebody to buy your product, we have to talk about their needs. It took a while for this to actually set in, but once you see it all, behavioral science to marketing, you won't be able to unsee it. People do not buy products, they buy solutions. Another way of saying that is people don't buy products, they buy the satisfaction of a need. We've all heard of the scientist Abraham Maslow. He was a Russian guy who did a lot of tests on dogs and came up with the hierarchy of needs. He's one of the most cited researchers in the history of human behavioral science. And he gave us the clearest framework, which we still use today, on how understanding those needs and their priority. So, in 1943, Maslow published a paper called A Theory of Human Motivation. And in it, he laid out what we now call Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's 5 levels in a pyramid. And the argument is that, I shouldn't do that symbol, that'd be really weird. 5 levels on a pyramid. And the argument is that human beings are always trying to satisfy one of these levels. And once that level is met, then you can move to the next. I'm going to walk you through it. Just as a refresher, I know you all are super smart, but level 1, this is the base, is your physiological needs. Food, water, shelter, sleep. The things that you need to survive. Level 2 is your safety needs. Security, stability, freedom from fear. Someone who buys assurance, for example, someone who buys insurance, not because they enjoy insurance. Nobody buys insurance and enjoys it, but they need to feel protected. Social needs, belonging, love, connection, community. Like someone joins a CrossFit gym so they can make friends, but they're not really there to work out. We all know that person. They're not named Matt U, but we all know that person who just wants to be a part of the group. They're not trying to necessarily excel, but their need is for community. Now, above that, step 4, is the esteem needs. This is for achievement, for recognition, for confidence, for status. And those are the guys who are really competitive, typically. And level 5 is self-actualization, growth, purpose, becoming your fullest self, and becoming the champion you've always wanted to be, being the person who creates the community. You're reaching that pinnacle. Now, some people would argue that there's a level 6 and that's self-transcendence. That's a different video. We're not going to cover it here. Now, here's where this connects to marketing. And I really need you to sit with this one because it's very important. If you are selling to the wrong level in this hierarchy, then you are marketing the product to a customer and they may not be on the same page. And when that happens, you're going to feel like you're always pushing uphill. And the things that you're saying aren't landing, or somehow you're saying the right things and nobody is responding. Now, great marketers don't sell products. They speak directly to a need. That's why understanding the need and the level of which that hierarchy in which it appears, and operating on that becomes so essential. It's not about manipulation. It's really empathy. And that's the entire job. So that leads me to part B, the flywheel. So shift in energy here, but you know what? This is going to still make sense. We're building. Let's talk about something that I think completely breaks people's understanding of what marketing is actually supposed to do. And that's the difference between a flywheel and a funnel. So for decades, and back in the 60s when we're talking about all of these guys, the dominant mental model that marketing used is a funnel. Imagine a funnel. I probably shouldn't be using symbols anymore, but the funnel at the very top is awareness. Consideration of the middle. And purchase is at the bottom. So awareness funnels down into consideration, funnels down into purchase. You pour people in the top, and some of them fall out, but then they make it down to the bottom. They complete their transaction, we move on. The problem with the funnel is that it treats the customer as an endpoint and the sale as a finish line. And for some industries, that works great. Like if you're designing a cruise ship and they only need one cruise ship. However, for most businesses, there's a relationship that must be maintained after the point of sale. So, this model, it shows that there's a slow leak because it completely ignores what happens after someone buys. So, Jim Collins, he wrote a book called Good to Great. And if you haven't read Good to Great, please go read Good to Great. Introduced the concept and called it the flywheel. To make this make sense, a flywheel is essentially, it's a wheel, it has two little balls on it. It's very hard to move. Pause. And you spin it, and then the momentum gets it running. Each push of the flywheel builds upon the previous work, compounding your investment and effort. The flywheel goes faster and faster as you continue to push in a consistent direction. That's the quote. I want you to imagine it. You have your little flywheel and it spins, you pushed, and the more you're pushing in the right direction, the faster it goes until it holds itself up. Now, again, the flywheel is a massive, heavy wheel. At first, pushing it barely moves it. It's slow. It's frustrating. Believe me, I know from personal experience. And you keep pushing in the same direction consistently, and it starts to build momentum. And eventually, it's generating more momentum than you're putting in. That's when the wheel starts doing the work. HubSpot took that concept and applied it directly to marketing. 3 phases: attract, engage, and delight, which should sound like know, love, trust. We'll tie that up later. You attract the right people with the right message. You engage them with real value, right? Awareness, consideration. And then you bring in the content and the connection. Then you delight them with what you've done. That's the key part here. You have to delight them with an experience that actually exceeds what they expected. But then what happens? 1, they trust you. 2, the delighted customer doesn't just stay. They become your marketing. They refer people. They leave reviews. They post. They bring the next customer in. And the flywheel turns faster. And that's what marketing actually is trying to build. Not a transaction, a relationship that compounds over time. Last thing on the flywheel, and this is the part that no one talks about enough. Collins called it friction. This is important. That anything that slows down the wheel, in the marketing terms, that's a bad Google review, a confusing website, or an ad that promises something your business doesn't actually deliver. Friction stops the wheel. So part of the marketing's job, a big part, isn't just adding fuel. It's removing the things that are slowing you down. I told you in the last episode that people need to first know you, love you, and then trust you. And that's the flywheel in plain language. You can't skip these steps. And you definitely can't build trust before someone knows you exist. So, now we get to the point where you care, right? Why should you care? Let's talk about your gym. So, let's bring this thing on home. You run a CrossFit gym or any gym, fitness boutique, fitness business, any community-based businesses. Ironically, that does include church. But everything I said should be landing on you a little bit differently now. Think about Maslow's hierarchy of needs in your gym for a second. What is the level of hierarchy that someone is actually buying from you when they walk into your CrossFit gym? They think they're buying fitness. They tell themselves it's about the weight, or they want to lose the weight they want to lose, or the PR they want to hit. What keeps them coming back at 5 a.m. in the morning in the cold and the rain is belonging. So they said they wanted level 4, but they really want level 3. And they found their people, so they're satisfied. Or maybe it is level 4 and they are trying to compete and be something that they're proud of. Maybe for some of them it's all the way at level 5 and they're trying to reach the fullest version of themselves. Each athlete does CrossFit to land at a different level of hierarchy. So it's important that you, when you're marketing your thing, know what level that you are selling at. You might be selling a community to people who are trying to compete. You might be selling competition to someone who doesn't want to. If your marketing is about your equipment, your programming, your coach's certifications, you are marketing at level 1 when your customer is buying at levels 3, 4, and 5. Now that's a mismatch. And that mismatch is why people click your ad and don't call. They saw your product and they need the feeling that comes with the higher levels in the hierarchy. Now going back to the flywheel, a CrossFit's entire gym business model is built on retention and referral, by and large. We're going to change it up a little bit as you decide to work with us by adding the right tools to remove the friction of your business. And the research backs this up. According to the Bain and Company out of the Harvard Business School, increasing customer retention by just 5% can increase profits anywhere from 25 to 95%, which is a wild range. So 25 to 95% is compelling, right? But that's not a small number, especially if you're operating on margins. That extra 5% could mean doubling the amount that you're taking home at the end of the month, or even more. So the flywheel looks like this. You run the right ad, one that speaks to transformation, to community, to belonging. You attract the right people. And if you want to work with us at Enoch Marketing, we'll do research on the demographics, the age, the income levels, and all of that around your gym to make sure you're hitting the right people. Anyway, as we said, you're going to speak to transformation, to community, to belonging. We're going to attract the right person. They're going to come in, feel the culture. They get coached well. They're going to hit their first PR. Somebody high fives them. Everybody's delighted because we know that you can deliver a good product. They're going to post about it. The friend's going to see it and ask where they go. Your wheel just turned. And it costs you nothing. Nothing. Play to the right needs. Get the flywheel spinning. But if there's friction and your Google listing has 3 reviews and 2 of them are mediocre, your website looks like it was built back in 2009, which was 17 years ago, your DMs go unanswered for 3 days, the wheel stops. The referral never happens. Your friend never comes in. And you never even knew that you just lost them. Marketing is a full system. It is not just the ad, it's the landing page, it's the first phone call, it's the trial class, it's the experience, it's the follow-up text, it's the coach who remembers your name on day 2. It's the community that makes you feel like you'd be crazy to leave. And when that system is working, really working, it doesn't feel like marketing at all. It just feels like a gym that people love. And gyms where people love grow. And that's what we're building towards on this channel. That's what we're building towards at Enoch Marketing. And that's what we exist to do. So, in short recap, marketing is not about advertising. Marketing is the full practice of finding what the market needs and meeting it. Before the sale, during the sale, and long after. It is built on relationships, not transactions. People have to know you, love you, and trust you. In that order. When the flywheel is spinning, you have the right message, the right experience, and you're putting it out on the right level of needs with Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You're going to see compounding, you're going to see growth, you're going to see everything. Now on the next message, we're going to get a little bit more into the nitty gritty about the full digital marketing landscape, whether it be Google, Meta, SEO, organic, paid advertising, you name it. And we're actually going to get into it just a little bit. There's still many episodes left in this series, so strap in. Before we even get into that, understand I can give you the tools, but unless you know how to use them, you're playing at a disadvantage. There's no point playing a game if you don't know the rules. So if this was valuable to you, subscribe. Share it with somebody who needs it. Drop a comment. We read those. We will respond. Visit us at enochmarketing.com. Follow us on Instagram. And if you are ready to stop guessing and start building real marketing, the whole system, the whole environment for your gym, book a call and let's talk. I'm Colin Charles. This is Enoch Marketing. We'll talk to you soon.